In today's video, we're going to take a look at the top software platforms that we use to build better systems for those in construction and in the trades. Now, because your job isn't always choosing software platforms on a daily basis, it can be a little bit confusing to know which platforms out there are overhyped from a marketing standpoint versus what can actually be really useful for your business. Hey, I'm Dan Lehman from Crewmatic.com. Let's jump into our first category, and this category is around work management or project management tools. Now, the reason this category is so important is because it serves as a hub of all of our business information. So all of the other systems that we talk about are going to feed into or connect to these work management platforms. The first software on this list is Airtable. Now, we use Airtable on all sorts of different projects, and it's used by people all over the globe. Airtable is an online database platform, and the reason that people use it so much is because it has these interfaces. Now, interfaces let us take our data, and as opposed to having just like a spreadsheet type view of our information, instead we can build these custom screens. This is why we have the ability to really build our own custom software on top of Airtable without the need to write much code. Now, Airtable is an awesome software to use, but one of the downsides is that the licensing can be a little bit expensive. It's not the same as a Procore, which is going to charge you for a percentage based on the size of your business, but they do charge on a per user license per month. So every single person who's accessing that application is going to get charged a user license. SmartSuite is a competitor or alternative to Airtable, and they also charge per user. But those user license fees are typically less than Airtable's. SmartSuite also brings additional collaboration features into the mix. To make it really easy, let's say you're building an employee onboarding software and you've got your punch list and your project management all in SmartSuite. SmartSuite makes it easy for all of those users to collaborate and to be able to see your tasks across the platform. The founders of SmartSuite were initially involved in risk and compliance, and because of their background in this area, SmartSuite's permissions are also the best in the industry. So if you find yourself wanting to lock down certain parts of your application to only certain people or roles on your team, you can easily do this with SmartSuite. Another option we have in this work management space is called NoLoco. NoLoco originally got its start as an ecosystem kind of tool for Airtable, allowing people to build client portals that didn't have to tap into Airtable's more expensive pricing. Since then, NoLoco has become a great all-in-one software. You don't even need to connect it to an Airtable or SmartSuite. You can use the solution natively within NoLoco's own tables. From a pricing standpoint, the way that NoLoco bundles their client seats makes this much more affordable to use with multiple users. And NoLoco provides a really nice building experience. So I know the consultants on my team really appreciate every time they get to do a NoLoco project because it feels so intuitive to build on. Softer, like NoLoco, started as an ecosystem tool for Airtable. Same idea, you're building custom portals on top of Airtable. But like NoLoco, Softer's now turning into its own independent platform. You don't need to pair it with some of these outside systems. And Softer's pricing is even generally lower than NoLoco's. You can get users down to about $1 a user a month because of the way that pricing is structured on Softer. Additionally, Softer lets you build so that you can have public-facing pages and private-facing pages. So you might have a website which is public-facing, and then you have certain components of that portal or website, that web application, and you can do both of those with Softer, whereas you can't currently with NoLoco. Now, a newcomer to the space that's really taking the world by fire is a platform called Zeit.com. Now, Zeit compares more closely to some AI coding tools such as Replit or Lovable. With Zeit, you're not being charged for users of your application. Instead, you're paying more for the prompts, the actual messages that you're typing the AI in order to generate your site. We've been able to build some really powerful custom applications using Zeit as a front end that we couldn't do with other applications simply because we can use the AI that it has to generate our own custom components so that you can really make this look and feel the way you want it to. The next category that we have is around mobile application builders. Now, most of the work management platforms that we talked about a moment ago have some kind of mobile component. Perhaps they have a progressive web app and you can do some light mobile usage for it, or maybe they have their own app that you download. In the case of Airtable, you download the Airtable app and you can access your data that way. But if you want to build some sort of field services solution, you probably want to design something with an experience that's really well suited for mobile. Glide is one of the platforms that we use to design mobile applications. Now, admittedly, they are also a progressive web application. It's not a native mobile application, but they have some additional functionality on the platform that really makes it look like it's geared for mobile. Things like taking photos with your camera and having them automatically uploaded, or getting the GPS location coordinates of where you actually are on a map. It also has a really nice aesthetic design. It's really easy to use for people who aren't all that technical. Now, Glide is great because we get really fast time to value. Because they have these out-of-the-box components that you can use, we can build a Glide app with really good precision quite quickly. But if you need a true native mobile application that people can download from an app store with your own brand, then you're going to want a native mobile application that we can build using tools like Flutterflow. With Flutterflow, we're able to do things like add full mobile offline functionality. We can also do push notifications and be able to tap into code for creating some more of those custom components when we need to. Our next category is around integrations. Now, integrations are going to be those connections that allow your software applications to talk to one another. Today, you're probably using different software applications, but you need to enter data manually into one application and then enter that same data again into another. Wouldn't it be nice if all of those applications talk to one another? We do that through the use of integration platforms. A really common one used by businesses of all shapes and sizes is called Zapier. Zapier helps you connect those systems together using simple kind of if-else style language and visuals on a screen to help you build those integrations. Zapier has a pretty low learning curve, which makes it really accessible. However, if you need something a little bit more powerful and configurable under the hood, then Make.com is a really good option. Little higher learning curve, but you can do some more of the complexities that Zapier doesn't necessarily offer. And on the other end of the spectrum are tools like N8N and Pipedream. Pipedream is a favorite of ours. It allows us to generate code to be able to create some of the most technically complex integrations that we can then manage. So whichever tool is the best fit for you, you're certainly going to need something there to manage those integrations, your different applications talking to one another. Another category that we have is around forms, being able to collect information from people who aren't even necessarily users of your core application. Now, work management platforms such as Airtable have their own forms, but they really pale in comparison compared to that of Fillouts. With Fillout, we can connect to your Airtable or Smart Suite so that it's pulling in fresh information directly into your Fillout form. We also have special forms that let you actually update records instead of always creating a new record. So it's not just used for things like collecting leads. Instead, we could take this form and have someone actually update their information, their address, their employer records, all through one of these update forms. Fillout bakes in lots of extra goodies, such as the ability to auto-complete addresses, and we can actually add line items or multiple different records in a single form. AI platforms are always emerging and changing, and we're in this really messy time of history where someone who's the market leader could be left in the dust a couple of months later. But one of the platforms that we've used pretty consistently with success is called VoiceFlow. VoiceFlow has been around since before the ChatGPT days, really good for things like chatbots and being able to look up information and pull that information into one dedicated chat interface. Now, our last category here that's kind of a catch-all for everything else is around ecosystem tools. Now, ecosystem tools are really important. For example, if you're using QuickBooks today, you're probably going to continue using QuickBooks. What we want to do is take your Airtable or whatever we have for your work management hub and be able to connect it into your ecosystem tools like QuickBooks so we can automatically invoice or we can track budgets. All of the things that you already do in QuickBooks today, we can automate those processes using those integration tools and using our work management hub. And I mentioned QuickBooks because that's such a common finance platform, but these ecosystem tools could also be construction-specific tools. So for example, we have a client who uses Foundation. And so instead of hooking into QuickBooks, we want to hook in that same information from a financial standpoint into Foundation. Other ecosystem tools might be like a DocuSign or PandaDoc for your contracting, or different scheduling tools, takeoff software, etc. I hope this has been helpful to see the different kinds of tools and how it can make your business more successful. If you want to check out any of the links, we have them as affiliate links in the description below. And if you need any help with your own business processes or custom systems, don't hesitate to reach out to our website at Crewmatic.com, where we're offering free 30-minute consultations.